Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. This is what it was like. This was going to the movies. Sitting in your car, bag full of sugary snacks in your lap, bag full of cheap dirt weed, and a car full of your favorite stoner buddies. This was the drive-in movie experience. Drive-ins are a thing of the past now, like mood rings and Aquanet Extra Super Hold in the pink can. The year was 1979, and we're about to revisit one of the cheesiest horror flicks ever. Boy, it's Phantasm.
The funeral is about to begin.
Now, most B-movie aficionados know that most of these old school horror movies usually start out with some couple having sex in the backseat of their car, and this couple being so involved with their grunting and their squealing that they're totally oblivious to Mr. Knife-wielding maniac right outside their door. Or they get attacked and eaten by some giant monster, or they get their brains commandeered by some creepy space alien. Anyway, Phantasm is a little bit different. Yes, there is a couple having sex, and yes, someone does get killed, but in this particular instance, it's the girl on top that pulls out a knife and kills the guy she's doing it with. And right after she kills him, she somehow turns into a guy. Now that's weird. Is it some sort of prophetic tale for our modern times, or is it just a twist on the old Crying Game movie? Either way, it doesn't matter, because our boy Tommy is dead. Poor Tommy, he's dead. But conveniently, the graveyard that he died in is located right next to this spooky old house / mortuary / mausoleum. Here we are introduced to his good buddy Jake, who looks remarkably like a young David Hasselhoff. And we meet Hasselhoff's younger brother, Michael, who we come to find out is a bit of a weirdo, a little needy. He spends most of the movie chasing his brother around like a puppy dog to his master. Here's the kid watching his brother through the binoculars. So he likes to watch, as you will see. So Hasselhoff is walking through the mausoleum when he's confronted by the Tall Man. That's what he is known as, actually, the Tall Man. This guy is a bit of a star in his own right in the B-movie community. Angus Scrimm is his real name. And he stars in all of the subsequent Phantasm sequels. Phantasm 2, Phantasm 3, Phantasm 4. Each sequel being more awful than the last one. Which is pretty amazing, actually. Because that means that this one is the best one. And this one fucking sucks. I guess the moral of this and every other 70s horror flick is, if you have sex, whether it be in a car, in a forest, in a bush, in a tree, you're dead meat. You're dead. See, 16-year-olds with raging hormones, we don't want to hear that shit. We've seen the charts. We think we know where everything is. We want to crop dust the world. So this kid is confused, and he seeks advice from the local town psychic. This has got to be the weirdest sign anywhere. It's just a red hand. Get it? She's a psychic. Palms red while you wait. Ba-doom, ksh. A young girl answers the door, and this person definitely wins this movie's worst acting award. You know, there's always a few people in these B movies that are there because they're a friend of the director, or actually they're the daughter of the financial backer of the movie. My daughter wants to break into acting. Can you make this happen? Sure thing, man. Next stop, Hollywood. You know, in 6 months, she'll be doing porn. Now here's Reggie, the other star of the movie. Okay, check it out. Reggie drives an ice cream truck for a living. Now, if someone looked like Reggie and drove an ice cream truck around children these days, we'd probably want to keep him on an ankle monitor. But this is 1979, so it's probably okay. He's got a guitar strapped to the side of the ice cream truck. Now it makes sense. Stupid job, shiftless, no ambition, bald. Yeah, he's a musician, all right. Here's Reggie and Hasselhoff just sitting on the patio, playing the blues, jamming. This is a tuning fork. This little tuning fork is somewhat crucial to the plot later on, but when I look at it, it makes me so glad I'm in 2024 where I can tune my guitar with a snark. Okay, Hasselhoff enters the local tavern, and there's this lovely lady sitting at the bar. Unbeknownst to him, it's the same lady who killed his buddy Tommy. Now, after literally 1 minute of conversation, he closes the deal with her, and the two of them leave the bar, ready to have sex. Reminds me of the old Jizzo, 1990 Jizzo. 5 minutes of chat, a hearty handshake, and off to the back lounge we go. Dun, 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 dun. But Hasselhoff has no back lounge, so he takes her to, yeah, you guessed it, the graveyard. That seems to be a theme in this movie. And of course, there's little brother not too far behind, creeping. Look at the little f***er, peeking through the bushes, licking his lips like Aqualung. But something startles the kid, so he runs screaming towards his brother who, check this out, Hasselhoff has got the girl's panties in his mouth. Now that's strange. Makes me think, who's pitching and who's catching here? Here we see Hasselhoff back at the bar the next morning. Wait, are those Jordache jeans he's wearing? And there's little f***ing brother with his thumb up his ass following him around again. I don't get it. Here's the kid walking down the street. Wait, is that a Warren Star jacket he's wearing? I have that same jacket. Warren Star. How did they know? Here comes the tall man walking down the street for no reason. He's just walking. He sees the kid sees him. It's terrifying. I think what's more terrifying is our boy Reggie delivering the ice cream. What do you think he's got in that ice cream truck? Or whom? So later on, the kid decides he wants to investigate the goings-on at the mortuary. So naturally, he goes there all alone at night. It makes sense. So he's inside and, somebody's coming. So he jumps into a casket and waits it out. You know, this happened to me a long time ago. I was at the British Museum in London, and for some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to climb into an old Egyptian mummy case. No reason, other than I was a rock star in the UK at the time, so I just said, F it. I waited till I was alone, and then I climbed over the velvet ropes, and I got inside this 3,000-year-old mummy case. Old school. Well, that didn't sit well with the authorities. I was immediately found out, pulled out of the case, and summarily thrown out. 86th from the British Museum. How many people can say that? Boy! The kid is inside the mausoleum, looking around, and now we see the real star of the film. It isn't the tall man, it's the ball. Remember the flying ball? There's this silver ball that flies around the mausoleum. Again, nobody knows why or how. This metal ball just sort of flies around of its own accord, but it has these huge, jagged spikes in the front. Here we go. I like the drill bits going into the eyes. It's a nice touch. And of course, it all comes out tomato soup out the front because young stoner kids like a flying ball that bores into people's skulls. So tall man chases the kid around for a bit more, and here we see his hand get caught in the door. So the kid cuts his fingers off. Of course he does. And out comes this yellow shit, which can only mean tall man is not from this world. And so instead of running away like every other kid would, the kid decides to grab one of the tall man's still wiggling fingers and take it home and put it in a box for safekeeping. But then inexplicably, and I don't know why, the finger turns into a giant bug, which the kid and Hasselhoff have to flush down the garbage disposal. It just doesn't make sense. Finger turns to bug. It's very Kafka-esque, if you know your Kafka. Fast forward. More mindless scenes that make no sense. You see, when you're a kid and you're getting stoned at the drive-in, you just accept these stupid scene after stupid scene. Maybe it made more sense back then, or maybe I was just so stoned that I didn't care. So the kid gets dropped off at some girl's house, and as they drive back home, they get attacked by some evil dwarf, which just produces a solid minute of this mindless shrieking from these idiot girls. And after some more shenanigans and lots more stupid shit, the kid chases after his brother again. And look at this. Look at this. Have you ever seen a stuffed animal on the wall that looks like this? Seriously. Instead of just mounting the head like a normal, usual trophy, let's stuff and mount half the fucking mountain lion complete with its arms sticking out. I don't get it. Fast forward again. The tall man kidnaps the kid and the kid escapes again. And then finally, the three of them, Hasselhoff, Reggie, and the kid, decide to have the final showdown at the mausoleum. And here comes the ball again. They're chased by the flying ball, only this time it's got heat-seeking technology. So they defeat it. They defeat the ball. And together, they look at the mystery door at the end of the hall, only to open it and find dozens of large Tupperware containers that contain, you guessed it, dwarves. Rows of dwarves in jars. Apparently, the whole crux of this story is that the tall man is collecting dead people and turning them into his dwarf slaves. Not very politically correct, really. Slaves or dwarves. And here's the tuning forks. So it seems that the tuning forks are a gateway to another dimension. I bet you were wondering how they were going to explain all this. Here's the murdering bimbo back for sloppy seconds. So she falls to the ground, and Reggie, who you know has never been laid once in his entire life, he comes down to help her, which gets him a knife in the chest. See? Another life lesson. Never ever help anyone. And then she turns into the tall man again. So it's almost impossible to figure out which pronoun to use. He, she, they, them. I don't know. But the ending is predictable. The tall man chases the kid over to the town's local abandoned mine shaft. We know this because it says so on the sign. And then down he goes into the hole. Success! Then afterwards, sitting by the fire, Reggie tells the kid, guess it was all a dream. A dream. Hasselhoff, the brother, has been dead this whole time, and the kid has been suffering this trauma and hallucinating flying balls and dwarves. Reggie sits down next to him and assures him that as he is now his guardian, he will take good care of him, which should terrify anybody. And then the kid goes to his room, and the tall man, not dead, apparently, not imaginary, and his happy camper dwarves pull him through the window, and that's the end of him. Boy! That really sucked. That f***ing sucked. I mean, it stunk. Definitely not as good as The Crow, but probably just as bad as the other 100 Crow knockoffs, Son of Crow, Dances with Crow, A Hard Day's Crow, and so on. No one has any original ideas anymore. The creative well has run dry, it seems, except for your old pal Jizzo, who has an inexhaustible reservoir of angst and good old-fashioned creepiness. And let that be forever said. It's your old pal Jizzo, rockin' and rollin'. We'll see you next time.